It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Welcome. Welcome to Wealth and Wines, a real estate experience. I am here on Facebook, YouTube, in a group, and hopefully you'll take a moment to share this live with your friends and your family. So, whatever medium you're on, please help us get the word out. Share, share, share. So, welcome to Wealth and Wines, a real estate experience with Kersha Porter. I'm here every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And so far, we have been bringing some amazing real estate information to you in addition to featuring wine. And we will talk about our featured wine. If you have anything in your glass, please enjoy while we talk this evening. And if you don't, go ahead. You got a minute, second, go ahead, get your glass so that you can join us as well. So, welcome again to Wealth and Wines. If this is your first time here on our real estate experience, my name is Kersha Porter. I eliminate confusion for buyers by giving them key strategies to unlock resources to buy their dream home. So I am the CEO of Porter Premier Homes of Cummings and Company Realtors, and I can help you search for your next home at porterpremierhomes.com. So thank you again for coming in. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and we are in a pandemic. We have all received many warnings, advice, admonitions to just stay within our immediate bubble, whoever you typically are with, be it in your household or who you may move around with. Stay with those folks. So, let me know what you have planned in the comments. Drop it there. Let me know if it's just going to be the folks that live in your house. Maybe you're bringing one more person in, maybe two people in. Are you traveling? Are you driving across town? Last week, we talked about some ways that you could virtually celebrate Thanksgiving with your friends and your family. And my family, we're actually going to get on Zoom and we're going to say grace together, actually, and one other little icebreaker. So we have some folks that are in town as well as out of town, and we want to make sure that we can see each other and just wish each other a happy Thanksgiving. So that's a little bit about what we have lined up for tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So drop in the comments whatever you might be doing tomorrow. But before we get into real estate, we're going to talk about wine. So I do have, you might notice that today I have a different type of wine glass. Yep, I am using a flute today because the wine that we are going to feature is a little different than the ones we've had before. So today we have, I'm going to show you the bottle. It looks just like that. It's a 2016. I'll be opening this one tomorrow. It's a 2016 Blanc de Blancs. It is a sparkling white wine. It opens with lovely floral notes. The palate, it has a kiss of honey that leaves the flavor of gala apples. So those of you who love those apples, especially this time of year, you will experience some of that in this white wine. And we have some stone fruit, and it just spreads across your palate when you taste this one. Smells amazing. And it is. It's just a refreshing, sparkling wine with a touch of citrus zest on the finish. And so this was made in California. This is actually a Napa Valley sparkling wine, and it has some amazing fruit flavors. You wonder about sparkling. You can see this has bubbles in it. So wines with a little bubbly, oftentimes you wonder, well, what's the alcohol content? Well, this particular one has an alcohol content of 12.5%. So it's aged for about 15 months or less. and it is really in the Chardonnay family. Okay. It works well and it pairs well with seared scallops and some oyster Rockefellers. And let me know if you're having seafood tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Drop it in the chat. Let me know what's on your menu. Most of you who know me personally know that I am not in the kitchen. My husband has already started cooking, and we're just excited about what we're going to have tomorrow. In terms of cheeses, we have some light cheeses that pair well with this. So, if you are thinking about what you may want to serve for dinner in the coming other holidays we have Christmas coming up, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's. This is an amazing sparkling that you might want to try. It does retail for $50. If you are in our wine society, if you're a member there, you do receive a 20 to 30% discount on that bottle. So, those of you who have a glass, cheers. It's really quite refreshing. So, thank you again for joining us. If you are interested in securing and purchasing any wines, go to wealthandwines.com and you will see all the wines that we offer and figure out which ones might be perfect for you. Today, what are we going to talk about with respect to real estate? We're going to talk about the 4 questions sellers should consider when they are evaluating multiple offers. So, despite the pandemic, we are in an amazing seller's market. What does that mean? When sellers put their homes on the market, they are priced right and they show well, they invariably will get many, many showings, which lead to many offers. We have less homes on the market than buyers. So the buyers are rushing to see these homes and they are making really strong offers. So sellers are in the position right now where they have to figure out which offer should I take. Now, in real estate, I represent buyers and I represent sellers. So when I'm working with sellers, these are some of the things that we tell them to listen, think about it, consider, and let's figure out how you're going to go about accepting the best offer. So it's called multiple offers. Typically, what would happen is when the property is on the market and there have been many showings, an agent says, I'm going to submit an offer. The listing agent, which is the realtor that works with the seller, will usually send out a message saying, hey, we have a multiple offer situation. We need your best and highest offer by Thursday at 5 o'clock. So they give you a deadline in which you need to submit that offer. And what realtors then have to do is go back to their buyer and say, is this your best and final, or would you like to change your offer in any way? That's why there's a deadline. It gives the buyer's agent an opportunity to revise their buyer's offer and resubmit it to the seller's agent. So that's happening a lot right now in the market here in the Baltimore metropolitan area, which is super exciting for the sellers. And it could be a little intimidating for some buyers. Some love getting in the game and competing, and others, they just say, nah, this is not the time for me. So it's just something that you want to consider and decide whether or not this is the thing for you. So the first thing that sellers will consider when they receive an offer is the offer price. They want to know, hey, how much are they offering to purchase my home? Now, I told you that it is a multiple offer situation. And when there are multiple offers, the offer price tends to be higher than the list price. So what is the list price? The list price is the advertised price. So when you go on an app and you see a house and it's listed for $250,000, that is the list price or the advertised price. But what we've been seeing in the market is the offer price is higher than the list price. So if the list price was $250, offers start coming in at $255, $260, $270. I have seen offers up to $35,000 to $40,000 over the list price. So the first thing that sellers are looking at is, what is the offer price? What is the seller telling me they'd like to pay? So when you see that, happening in our real estate market, that is something that the seller is usually number one looking at. Are they offering more than I expected? And if so, we're going to check that off. It is not the only criteria, but it is one of the four: offer price. If you have any questions about how offer prices work, drop it in the chat and you can feel free to reach back out. I will absolutely respond. So number one is offer price. Number two for sellers to consider is down payment. So you say to yourself, what is a down payment? Down payment, typically, a higher down payment is indicative of a serious and a more financially secure buyer. The higher the down payment, the better. Down payments between 20 to 50% are a strong indicator of financial stability. So you say to yourself, well, Gersha, you've talked before about the different types of mortgages. And I have. Mortgages where there is a minimum down payment of 3.5%, like a FHA, it doesn't mean that that's what the buyer will put down. That just means that's the minimum. There are buyers who have saved money for a number of years, and they are in a position to put down 5%, 10%, ideally 20%. So when you are in the game and you say, you know what, I'm going to buy a house next year, you aggressively start saving so that you become what appears to the seller to be a much stronger buyer. So instead of borrowing 97% of the purchase price, you may only be borrowing 80% of the purchase price because you're putting 20% down. And yes, there are many buyers who come very strong with a down payment. So just keep that in mind. If you can get in that position at all, that is what you want to be in, a position where you are showing on that financing contingency. It could be an FHA form, a VA form, a conventional form. It's going to show how much you are borrowing, which then tells the seller how much you are putting down, how much your down payment is. So number two is sellers are looking at the down payment when they are considering multiple offers. The third thing that sellers are going to consider as they are looking at these multiple offers, and what we as sellers agents do is we put together a spreadsheet, and we're going to put some key indicators on that spreadsheet so that when the seller is considering all of their offers, they're not flipping through 35 pages of a contract. They're going to look at the parts that are most important to them. So earnest money deposit is one of the pieces that we put on the spreadsheet. So you say, well, Gersha, what is an earnest money deposit? I thought that was a down payment. Let me clear my throat. I'm going to sip on this sparkling white wine. So an earnest money deposit, and you see a picture of a check here. Today we wire. Pre-COVID, we would get checks. Now, to make the process so much easier, most brokerages will accept earnest money deposits by wire, and we love that as realtors. So an earnest money deposit is a signal of the good faith from the buyers that they want to purchase the home. The buyers won't get this money back if they back out of the deal unless it's specified in the contract. And what we mean by that is unless they have contingencies, okay? So typically, buyers will default to a 1% of the purchase price when they make an earnest money deposit. What does that mean? If you're buying a $300,000 house, oftentimes buyers will say, well, I'm just going to give a $3,000 earnest money deposit. Well, that is the default or the standard. But in a situation when there are multiple offers, you want to make sure that your offer stands out. And what does that mean? You want to give a higher earnest money deposit than 1%. So what happens to that what happens to that earnest money deposit? That earnest money deposit is actually part of your down payment. So if you had planned to put in an earnest money, a down payment of $20,000, you already have that money ready and available in your bank account. Why not make a greater earnest money deposit than 1%? Why don't you give $6,000? Because when a seller is evaluating their offers that they have in front of them, one of the things they're going to look at is how much earnest money deposit did this particular buyer submit with their offer. It's kind of like how much skin do they have in the game, right? So you want to have as much skin in the game. You want to show the seller that you're serious about purchasing their lovely home and that you are financially strong and secure. So that earnest money deposit is a part of your down payment, but it's just a small percentage of it when you submit your offer. Okay. And number 4, the fourth area that sellers are considering when they evaluate your offer, and it's in the spreadsheet that we put across for sellers to consider, is your pre-approval. Now, there are buyers who go shopping and they are not pre-approved for a mortgage. Now, my practice, I always have my buyers pre-approved because the first time out looking for a home, boom, you found something that you love. And we don't want to go back through the process where the lender, to get pre-approved, the mortgage lender has already looked at your last 2 months of bank statements. They have gotten a copy of your W-2s. They have also pulled your credit report. So they know that you are well qualified. So they issue a pre-approval letter. So when we as realtors that represent buyers submit an offer, in addition to your earnest money deposit, we have a pre-approval letter in the contract. That's what goes over to the seller. So the seller's agent and the seller will be reading the letter. They're going to figure out what is in this letter, how strong is it, and what many, many seller agents are doing now is they are picking up the phone and they are calling that loan officer who is on that letter, 1, to make sure they're a real person, 2, to see how accessible they are, and to 3, have a conversation about the buyer that submitted the offer on that home. So right now, there are some lenders that will be very strategic. They will even call before the agent calls them. They'll say, hey, my client, John Jones, submitted an offer on your listing. I want you to know he is well qualified. We've checked his assets. We've checked his credit. He has a stable job, and he will be able to walk through this process and finish this transaction. So sellers want to know that they have a buyer in their hand who is pre-approved and is very strong. So being pre-approved for a loan is pretty much a necessity in this competitive market. Even though pre-approvals don't guarantee buyers financing, it's a good indicator that they're ready and able to make a purchase. So those 4 pieces are super critical when sellers are evaluating multiple offers. Okay. If you have any questions about any of these pieces, absolutely let us know. Give me a call. I just want to let you know that there are holiday flights that are available for you to enjoy as we come up. We have Thanksgiving flights, Christmas, New Year's, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah flights. So if you're interested, go to wealthandwines.com and be able to see what is available for you to take part of, just like the sparkling for the holiday season. So let's see if there are any questions. I'm gonna just take a look online for a quick moment and see if I am missing anything. All right. Okay. Awesome. Well, I am so excited that you took the time to be with me. If this is a replay for you, just make a note, #replay, and I will be excited to say hi, respond to any questions that you may have about multiple offer situations, because that is the market that we find ourselves in. If you're thinking about making a move, whether you want to sell or buy sometime in 2021, feel free to set up a house call with me. We'll talk about your particular situation and the strategies and the steps and the expectations. Just as a reminder, I'm here every Wednesday for Wealth and Wine's Facebook Live. Bring your glass of wine so that you can join me. And don't forget, if you know any potential buyers who are struggling with credit, they want to go ahead and join our 1000 Black Families Initiative. Okay? I really do appreciate you liking our Facebook page. Please go to Porter Premier Homes on Facebook, like our page. You'll be notified every time we come live. You'll get lots of great information and tips about purchasing a home, selling a home. So definitely check out our Facebook page. If there is anything else that you may have a need to get some questions answered, I'd love to spend some time talking with you. So find me at porterpremierhomes.com. You could always reach out to me by phone at 443-744-0206. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Once again, my name is Gersha Porter. I eliminate confusion for buyers and sellers by giving them key strategies to unlock resources to buy their dream home or to sell their property. And if you have any real estate related questions, please do reach out to me. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. Drive carefully if you're traveling, and if not, make sure you spend some quality time. Reach out to some folks who may be having Thanksgiving by themselves this year. Let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know they're important to you, and let them know that you love them. So thank you again. Have an amazing holiday, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.